What's up, everybody? You are listening to Intelligent Thoughts. My name is Dustin Coyle, and this is episode 34, UFC Fight Night 108 / Bellator 178 recap show. All right, sorry about this. This comes a little bit late. I kind of promised it to you on Tuesday. You get it on Thursday. I'm sorry about that. I've been a fuck up a little bit, but I am going to bring it to you right now. UFC Fight Night 108, just a week after the Johnson versus Hayes bout. They basically have been going week to week to week to week, UFC has. And even Bellator, too. They've been doing show after show pretty frequently as well. This is going to be the last one for, 3 weeks? 3 weeks until we're going to have UFC 211, Stipe Miocic versus Junior Dos Santos Part 2. This fight, however, takes place in Nashville, Tennessee, headlined by Cub Swanson, number 4, versus Artem Lobov, unranked, but still a pretty good, interesting fight there from Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Took place, April 22nd? It's going to be last Saturday. Is that right? I think so. 10,000 people showed up to watch, $755,000 total gate. And broadcast on, Fox Sports 1, I do believe? Yeah. Okay. As I already said, headlined by Cub Swanson and Artem Lobov for the, in a featherweight fight here. I guess, kind of basically, if Swanson wins the fight, essentially, he will be one of the front runners for, basically the next person to fight for the title at 145. We have a Max Holloway, Jose Aldo situation that's going to be coming up. Let me take a look at when this is going on. That'll be June 3rd between them. Jose Aldo, a slight favorite there. Definitely understandable. Let's actually take a look at the rankings, too, while we're on the subject. So, Cubs still sitting at number 4. Jose, the champion, obviously. Max Holloway, the number 1 contender. And it'll probably be either that way or vice versa after their fight. And then let me take a peek over here, what I was just looking at. On UFC 211, and then the next UFC card, actually, or the next UFC event, we have the number 2 ranked featherweight in the world now, Frankie Edgar. He'll be fighting Yair Rodriguez, the number 7 ranked. So obviously, if Edgar wins, he probably gets a rematch with Aldo. If Edgar loses the fight, you have to think that Cub Swanson looked pretty damn good, and he might get the shot to fight Aldo. And I guess I didn't even tell you that. So Cub Swanson beats Artem Lobov by unanimous decision. 1, 50-45, I disagree. 2 49-46s. I think that those are both accurate. I think Lobov won the first round. You might even be able to give one extra round to him, but I think a 49-46 is probably the fairest decision, or the fairest score you could have for the fight. The fight was pretty close, though. It was every round was a good round. It was a good fight. I mean, the fight actually won fight of the night, even though Cub Swanson won just about every round. It was every round was contested. Artem Lobov just wasn't fast enough. Kind of tired up a little bit more than Cub Swanson did. Not nearly as skilled of a game. Cub Swanson had a lot of great throws, a lot of judo maneuvers that really worked well against Artem Lobov. Clearly the better grappler. On the feet, they were actually pretty close, pretty similar. And at some points, Lobov had the advantage, but he was definitely slower. Probably a little bit more power. A pretty good fight, but definitely, I thought it was a 49-46 as well for Cub Swanson. Looked good, especially in a fight like that was so close to actually win by such a large margin. Again, another thing that looks really good. I didn't love Swanson going into the. I like him a lot, but I didn't think that he was this massive favorite the way that everybody else did. I was obviously proved wrong. He showed me that there was, unless Lobov knocked him out, there's very little Lobov's going to be able to do to beat Cub Swanson, really. I mean, he's not going to beat him in a decision. Probably not going to submit him. Clearly was not the more skilled grappler. And so, it was a massive step up in competition for Lobov, though. It wasn't like he was expected to beat Cub Swanson. It was a number 4 versus an unranked fighter. He wasn't even in the top 15, so it's kind of it's kind of random as even like as far as a matchup goes. That's really not the best matchup for him. Maybe we could see him against a Hanato Moisano, a guy who won just the other day. Maybe a Mirsad Bektic, a guy who got a pretty sick submission the other day, or maybe probably a month and a half ago now. Duho Choi, something like that. Those might be pretty interesting matchups there for Artem Lobov. He did look good against number 4, but just you need to take it a little slower. He has a record, I think it's like 13-13-1 now, so he doesn't have a fantastic record. Yeah, we'll see what's next for each of these guys, though. Good job for Cub Swanson there. All right, the co-main event of the evening. Al Iaquinta, raging motherfucking Al Iaquinta. The now number 11 in the lightweight standings in the UFC takes on Diego Sanchez, old vet, UFC, or tough Ultimate Fighter number 1, season 1 winner, champion. Al Iaquinta, though, obviously a massive favorite here right now. He wins in the first round, a minute 38 in, with some punches. Not even really punches, just kind of like a straight right that knocked him the fuck out, and a little bit of a hammer fist situation. But the straight right really had him, man. Really, really a spectacular performance from Al Iaquinta. He does not get a performance of the night victory, and he's pretty upset about that. We'll talk about those later, but he actually went on a rant, essentially saying, like, fuck you, Dana, fuck the UFC, this is ridiculous, the amount I get paid for this and shit, yada yada, isn't worth beating up my body and all this. He's contemplating retiring again. This was his first fight in 2 years. He had been selling real estate for the past 2 years. Comes back, knocks out Diego Sanchez in a minute 38. Looks fantastic. Obviously has some sick power in his hands still. And then no ring rust, to speak of. A minute 38 into the fight, he gets the KO. Really unfortunate if he decides to retire. Sort of an unfortunate circumstance for him there. Again, he doesn't make a lot of money. He should have got the $50,000 bonus, in my opinion. Definitely he should have got the $50,000 bonus. I think he had probably the second best finish of the night. One person had a rear naked choke finish on the preliminary card. It was a fantastic performance, but I think that Al Iaquinta just completely dominated, and I would have given it to him. We'll talk about the other one later, and we'll probably get back into this a little bit later. As I just said, Iaquinta, the number 11 rated fighter at lightweight in UFC. Not really sure what he's going to do from here, he claims. I would like to see him take a little step up around his area of expertise here. We could see, let's see, Alvarez 3, we have 3 versus 9, maybe not that good there. I wouldn't mind seeing Iaquinta fight a Dariush, I wouldn't mind seeing him versus a Chiesa or a Michael Johnson, even a Barbosa. That'd be an interesting fight. I hope that he comes back. I hope that this doesn't just derail everything that he had been doing. And I hope that this doesn't derail his mixed martial arts career. I know that he was doing, probably pretty well. He's a well-spoken, good-looking guy. I'm sure he had been doing pretty well selling real estate. But, obviously that has nothing to do with us. And as far as an MMA fan and somebody who speaks about MMA on the internet, obviously I want him to continue his career. I'm actually at MMAfighting.com right now. And there's a video, Watch the MMA Beat Now by Ariel Helwani, and he's actually the main thing, him yelling in the octagon, Iaquinta. So they obviously, they talked to him for sure on the MMA Hour. I saw that interview. Good interview. Go check that out. We'll see what happens with Al Iaquinta from here further. All right. At a catchweight bout because of missed weight by Marcos Rogerio de Lima. OSP and Marcos Rogerio de Lima fight at 210 pounds. OSP gets the submission in the second round, 2 minutes and 11 seconds into the round. While fighting off a guillotine, he finishes De Lima with a Von Flue choke, a pretty sick one. I think that's his second Von Flue submission in the UFC, or at least in his MMA career, professional MMA career. Pretty good performance there. He looked really good. Overall, he looked very, very dominant over De Lima. Really, another one of those fights that wasn't, truly that great of a matchup. A lot like that Iaquinta fight too. That one a little bit better because of the possible ring rust there. But as far as like the light heavyweight division, I don't think they were really even close in rankings. OSP 8 and De Lima not even ranked. Probably not even close to being ranked actually. Unless he beats OSP in this fight. He doesn't. While trying to get a takedown, he tries to put him into a guillotine. OSP circles off to the right and just sinks his shoulder into the throat and gets, honestly, a pretty quick tap for a Von Flue choke. Good overall performance, looked good striking, looked way stronger, way more physical in the grappling game. A great performance there for OSP. Let's take a look at his most recent fights and record and shit real quick. Yeah, fuck, man. Had lost 3 straight to Esdemir, Manawan, John Jones. That's really unfortunate. A split decision to Esdemir. I don't know that one... I don't know. That one could have definitely went either way. I remember that for sure. Great submission here. I'd like to see him get back up into fighting at least ranked fighters. Really any ranked fighter. I don't care. I mean, someone, closer to his rank, though. I don't want to see him against like a John Vellante too bad, or a Jan Blachowicz. Maybe like an Ilir Latifi or a Nogueira. Patrick Cummins, that'd be good. Patrick Cummins versus OSP, that'd be sick. I'd watch that shit for sure. Maybe that'd be the one that I pick. All right, good performance there for OSP, though. Just 2 months after that split decision loss to Esdemir. Good performance. All right, how about the bantamweight division? Johnny motherfucking Dodson making his bantamweight, re-emergence. I'm pretty sure he fought there before. I don't know that for a fact, but he had been a flyweight contender, at least. Defeats Eddie Wineland by a unanimous decision, 230-27s, 129-28. I like the 30-27s in this one. Much, much faster than Wineland, even though he was obviously much smaller. Great grappler, proved to be. Wineland's a good jiu-jitsu game, too, but John Dodson was just overwhelming as far as that's concerned as well. Not a complete domination. Wineland was okay. He wasn't really ever in that close to getting submitted. But if you look at his face after the fight, he clearly took a lot of damage. Well, much more than John Dodson did. John Dodson took almost no damage in the three rounds. Good performance there. It's interesting to see if they have him ranked at 135. Let's check that out. He is number 7 at 135 now. Jumps Aljamain Sterling, who had a victory last week. He's just right behind Caraway, Jimmy Rivera, and I would have to say he would be favored against either of those guys. Lineker, Asuncao, Dillashaw, that's probably where it might start to get a little bit more difficult for him up there. Good for John Dodson. Like to see. I mean, he could really make a 2 or 3 month, an easy 3 month, but maybe even one of those 2 month turnarounds just by how easy this fight was for him. He's obviously in great shape. I'm sure that he would be able to pull that off. Not much of a weight cut either. I think that he's probably going to really enjoy fighting at 135. And, this will probably be one of the more emerging trends for the future. Instead of people cutting weight when they aren't doing so well, I think that they're going to start going up in weight when they don't do so well. Similar to a Cerrone or like a John Dodson right now. And we've seen it as, as far as heavyweights and light heavyweights also. People going to heavyweight and to light heavyweight. Obviously not people going from heavyweight anywhere. But good performance there for Dodson. Expect a quick turnaround and probably give him one of the higher echelons in the bantamweight division. Maybe let's see him versus a Jimmy Rivera. I think that would be a great fight. Or, I don't know, maybe a Lineker. That would be a fucking insane fight, actually. Let's see if his footwork would be able to, outperform just the pure power that Lineker is going to pack at 135. And that'd be interesting, too, because Dodson packs a lot of power at 135, too. He's no bitch. Interesting to see where this goes. The lightweight division, we have a pretty fucking good fight here. Joe Lozon versus Ray. Stevie Ray wins a majority decision. Sort of a weird one